Alright, ladies and gentlemen, apologies for my lateness. It's time to get started with more solo leveling Ragnarok. Let's go ahead and see the next chapter, shall we? Yo, peoples! Qushu92 here. Welcome back to Solo Leveling Ragnarok. In the last chapter, we had Suho and everyone landing in this new zone. Thomas Andre already having a good start. Finding out that it was Park Dojin who caused Leun Suk to basically blow up the plane so that no one could have get an edge, so he wanted to complicate things even further. Now we also find out your mic sounds weird. My mic sounds weird. Hold on. I'm glad you said something. Let me see. Oh.
Okay,
Me not having any sound was on purpose because my stuff kind of got unplugged yesterday, but I didn't think it affected my microphone. So apologies, everyone, for having to make you wait. It was muted on purpose so I could fix everything. But now my Steam Deck doesn't even want to properly allow me to use my buttons right now. So I'm trying to fix that too. So I'm going to close that out and then bring it up again. See, the thing is, I didn't mess with any of my settings. I was double checking stuff. Okay, there we go. There we go. Buttons are where they need to be again. So I'll do that whole intro again. Yeah, there we go. Yeah, buttons are working. Yeah, that's nice. Yeah, that's very good. Even though some things are not warmed up yet. Come on. Okay. Unmuted. We're good. Okay. Sorry about that, everyone. Y'all know me. I like to operate in excellence here. Sorry about that mismatchness of audio quality. But welcome back to more Solo Leveling Ragnarok. I am so glad you guys said something before I before I went through this whole session with incredibly spotty audio, because you know how I do things here. But in the last chapter, we get more information as to how Suho and company crash landed onto. Let me just have chat off to the side here as well, so even though I'm focusing on one main screen, I can still see you guys. We had Suho and company land inside of this S-rank gate. However, we find out that Park Dojin basically manipulated Lee Yun-suk to basically blow up the plane, since he sees this as an opportunity to kind of like scatter everybody around. So with that happening, everyone gets scattered all over the place. Thomas Andre and his people are already down on the ground, and he's already, doing what he does best. And not only that, but we also cut to a different location where we find out that the heir of the Frost Monarch is actually the granddaughter of the Frost Monarch. And not only on top of that, but this is basically a domain that's just full of nothing but children, because all of the adults have vanished. And not only that, we find out that all these children were tended to by our very own Cha Hae-in, who this heir calls Cha-Cha. So all that happens, and Suho is beaten up on some Jotuns. One of the Jotuns makes its way to the mountain where the heir is, and we see that she's not feeble. She is incredibly fast, she's incredibly strong, but before she can defeat this Jotun, Suho comes in and allows his recently turned Jotuns to beat up on this one particular ice mountain giant. And the girl, thinking that he's the one who led them there, attacks him. But Suho, being the busted, overpowered character that he is, he easily blocks her, not knowing that they both share a connection, which is Cha-Cha herself. So let's see what happens after Suho questions, "Are you a monster too?" with Chapter 66, which I believe Kohagen told me that there's only a couple more chapters before this season ends. Not only that, but the current artist for Solo Leveling Ragnarok has apparently been drafted. And it doesn't mean he's going to war, it just means he's been drafted. So, apparently another artist will be searched for the rest of Solo Leveling Ragnarok going forward. But I believe that's going to happen either now, or it's either happening now, or probably once this season officially ends. But, Chapter 66, and it cuts to the heir skidding to the ground after Suho basically blocked her. And Suho is just chilling. 68 chapters in total, which means that since this is 66, there are 2 more chapters before apparently this season ends. So, yeah, we'll be probably going on another break for Solo Leveling Ragnarok until they bring the chapters back. This time, I will pay attention to when the chapters drop, so that way a whole 14 chapters doesn't go by and I don't notice. But Suho's just chilling. Let me properly adjust my mic here. this PC stand that you guys got me for through Throne is really, really cool. But Suho's just on top of his Jotun, and the girl is just skidding to the ground. And then Suho hops off. Looks like an ice elf, and a very young one at that. And this girl has this very, very serious look on her face, like she's brandishing daggers that look just like Baruka's, and her eyes are glowing. She may be a monster, but it doesn't feel great to have to fight a kid. And then the kid literally dashes from his sight, like she's just standing there, and then she's just an instant blur, and it surprises him. And she manages to get right behind Suho in almost an instant. But he's not moving. And then she goes to try and hit him. And then Suho, without even turning his head, he goes, "You're putting me in quite the tough spot." And then all of a sudden, this girl finds her face just flat on the ground all of a sudden. "I'd like to avoid killing you if it can be helped. So promise me that you'll just back away and I'll let you go." Of course, I guess that would only work if you can understand what I'm saying. And then she speaks up. Because she's whimpering. Sorry. Phlegm.
Let me go.
Huh? And she starts whimpering and crying.
I'm sorry I attacked you, but I need to make it back home. There are too many people who are depending on me. Ah, please don't kill me!
And mind you, Suho's sitting on top of her, kind of having her arm in an arm lock, while he's also having his 4 shadow Jotuns around him as well. Huh?
Children tremble and weep at the sound of your voice.
Oh wait, this is Baru going, "Children tremble and weep at the sound of your voice. Baru is impressed. You're becoming quite the fearsome warrior, young master." Give it a rest, Baru. Let's see. Maybe this will do the trick. And then he takes something out of his inventory, and he pats her on the head, going, There.
Huh?
Dry your tears and have some chocolate." Oh, it was chocolate! He's just got like a bar of Hershey's. And then time passes, and it shows that the chocolate was completely devoured. And then Suho. Let me get this straight. You're one of the ice elves who call this dungeon home? And this girl is just munching on a chocolate and like... Think Momo from that one episode of Dan Da Dan when she was chewing on the shellfish. You're one of the ice elves who call this dungeon home, and you attacked me because you wanted to protect your grandpa's tomb? What's your name?
Circa.
Nice to meet you, Circa. I'm Sung Suho.
Shang Shuho?
It's Sung Suho.
Shang. So, Ho-Ho, how'd you end up here?
Ho-Ho? So we got Cha-Cha and Ho-Ho. We got Cha-Cha and Ho-Ho. We got Cha-Cha and Ho-Ho. What's Jin's name gonna be? Jin? Woo-woo? Jin? We got Cha-Cha, we got Woo-woo, we got Cha-Cha, and we got Ho-Ho. Ho-Ho? She's not even gonna try to say my real name? I'm a hunter, and I'm here to clear this dungeon. I was with a team, but we ended up getting separated.
Hunter?
Yeah, a hunter is someone who fights monsters. Kind of. We fight to protect people.
Oh, so you're just like me. I'm a proud ice elf hunter. I fight to protect my siblings.
That's amazing. So, you've got a lot of siblings to look after?
As the eldest elf in my village, I was the one in charge before Cha-Cha arrived.
Cha-Cha? Could she be talking about the dungeon master?
After all the grown-ups disappeared, we were all alone, until the day Cha-Cha fell from the sky. Cha-Cha isn't an ice elf, but she's strong and brave and takes care of us. And Cha-Cha's hugs are super soft and warm. And she's got those cool black wings, and she can sniff out anything.
1, not an ice elf. 2, gives great hugs. 3, got black wings. 4, has a great nose.
And the first thing that pops up in his head, because he thinks that Cha-Cha is the dungeon monster, he thinks of a chimera. Sorry, manticore.
So she's some kind of manticore? If this Cha-Cha fell from the skies, she must have arrived after this dungeon was created. She can't be the dungeon master. Well, I should be getting a move on. It was nice to meet you, Circa.
Wait! Ho-Ho can pull treats out of thin air. Stay with us, Ho-Ho. You can save our village.
Sorry, but I've got other things to do.
Please, won't you stay?
And then Circa starts to get, visibly upset that Suho wants to leave.
I'm sorry.
And then Circa takes a knife out.
Then I guess I've got no other choice. I'm sorry, Ho-Ho, but I'll do anything to keep my siblings safe, even if it means I have to turn on the one who spared my life. If our villagers can make use of your skills, my siblings won't have to starve, even if Cha-Cha leaves us.
And she says this with this very serious look on her face, and her eyes are glowing, angrily too. Then Suho doesn't say anything.
I know you're just trying to protect your family.
And then all of a sudden, the knife that she was wielding suddenly just disappears, like the blade just immediately gets taken off. Because he basically snapped it off, and he's already brandishing greed right now.
I know you're just trying to protect your family, but so am I. If you stand between me and my family, I will strike you down, no matter who you are. If you still want to try and stop me.
And then she has a visible bead of sweat going down her face. And then, all of a sudden, we get many boxes of food, many boxes of drinks, and food, and chocolate.
Here, take this and let's call it even.
Huh?
I'm sorry I can't join your village, but I've got my own people to protect. Later.
And then he walks away. And then internally he's thinking,
I do feel a bit guilty about leaving such a little kid all alone in a place like this. Maybe I should send a shadow to keep an eye on her.
And then Circa screams out after putting on mittens and a scarf.
Ho-Ho! Why? Why are you letting me go?
Because I don't think I could live with myself if I ended up killing you. Even though you're still just a kid, you're trying so hard to take care of your younger siblings. I'm sorry I couldn't be more of a help.
And he secretly put one of his Jotun shadows on her if she doesn't even notice. And then he walks away. And then it cuts back to Circa, who's walking through the forest, and she has a whole sled that's just full of all the foods and items that Suho gave her. And she's just walking alone.
He spared my life not once, but twice, and he gave me all this food. Ho-Ho, I don't know what he's thinking, but he's nice. He kind of reminds me of Cha-Cha.
And then she's just looking at herself, kind of like blushing a little bit. And then someone's walking towards her, and it's someone, I can't tell. This is definitely not Thomas Andre's feet. This is definitely not his feet. Because the feet are the legs are too skinny. It can't be Thomas Andre. It can't be him. The legs look too skinny. Oh, I know who this is! And someone walks up to her.
Well, hello there, little Miss Ice Elf. Mind if I ask you something? Who are you?
Oh, it's Arsha! It's Arsha and the rest of the heirs.
We happen to be looking for something. Could you help us out? You must be Ho-Ho's friends. Are you looking for Ho-Ho?
Ho-Ho? Sorry, never heard of it. What we're looking for is the inheritance of the Frost Monarch. Would you happen to know where that is?
The Frost Monarch? You mean Grandpa?
I don't recall the Frost Monarch having a granddaughter. Oh, I see what this is. You must be his heir, or the next monarch.
Me? The next Frost Monarch?
We're heirs too, just like you.
And she says this while her upper body is just covered in shadow.
Evil. We were all born to become monarchs. Won't you join us? How about it?
And mind you, she says this, and her eyes are kind of glowing a little. And then Circa gulps. And then she continues past them.
I have no idea what you're talking about. I need to take these supplies back to my village. These guys aren't Ho-Ho's friends, and they're not nice at all. I have to get out of here.
And while she's saying this, Arsha is licking her lips.
Can't be helped then.
And then someone takes off Circa's leg. Someone takes off Circa's leg. And they destroy the sled with all the food and drinks. Oh, they gotta go. Every last one of these monarchs have gotta go. Something's in my eye, but I'm too upset to even worry about that fully right now. They take off one of her legs, and they smash the sled with food.
The quest told us to convince the Frost Monarch's heir to join us.
And it shows Circa being bound up by this extra long centipede from Arsha. And she can't move.
The quest told us to convince the Frost Monarch's heir to join us, but it never said we had to do it with words. Maybe we're overdoing it, but this is the sure way. Now be a good girl and join us.
And she licks her lips again, and it shows Arsha holding like this little green-looking gem. To be continued. Oh, no! The leg is fully fine, but why did it say slash, though? Oh, I was looking at it wrong. The perspective messed with me, Flipdo. It messed with me completely. Sorry. Her leg is fine, but the sled, not so much. So, it wasn't a slash sound because flesh was being cut into. It was a slash sound because of the centipede that rapidly moved towards Circa and bound her up. Okay. Correction. Thank you. But, yeah, they're gonna try and force Circa to join them. See, here's the thing. This is like a Luffy moment in One Piece where if you give Luffy food, he is willing to defeat any person you tell him to that is threatening your entire country. We've seen it with Dressrosa. We've seen it with Wano. We've seen it with Alabasta. We've seen it all over. There's something still trying to poke me in my eye, and it's annoying me. So, Circa seeing Suho and them kind of bonding just a little bit, I would not be surprised. And Suho saying that I can't bring myself to kill you, so it's not like it'd leave a weird taste in my mouth. Like, it's not something he would do. But this interaction between Circa and Suho just drives in further how much Suho is probably going to body every single one of these monarchs if he finds out that Circa has some relation to his very own mom, who he's searching for, no less. So, I feel like these monarchs have made an incredibly grave mistake. Because also, you got to think about that if Cha Hae-in is still around, Because we don't know if the gate that she was in front of those many chapters ago was her leaving this domain or her entering into this domain. If Cha-Hae-in finds out that any one of those kids were harmed by any of these monarchs, they'd have to deal with her as well, with old Cha-Cha! What's interesting to me is that fragment Arsha is holding. You know what I think? The first thing that popped up into my head is this fragment looks like the Monarch's version or Heir of the Monarch's version of what Park Dojin is using to control hunters. This fragment that she has in her fingers looks like the same type of thing that could be used to control, that basically Stardust, but it's for monarchs. And seeing as how she already told Park Dojin, I've perfected your formula and made it so that this is an offering to you so you can join us. He's not interested, but she's already perfected perfected Stardust to make it so that S ranks can be taken over. So I wouldn't be surprised if she's learned how to do this for monarchs. Because what are the odds that the heirs that are around her, except for Paya, like the one dude that still hasn't said a single word, what if he is actually enthralled by Arsha? And that's the reason why we haven't heard him say anything. Because he doesn't do anything unless he's commanded to. That's the reason why Joker's been quiet. It ain't like he ain't got nothing to say. It's because he's probably being controlled by Arsha. Oh, I don't feel like joining you, monarchs. That's too bad. Here, have this starburst, and immediately gets taken over. So seeing this fragment puts into my head that it's not Park Dojin who's using things to control people. It's Arsha doing the same thing. Now, my thing is, she probably hasn't done it to Paya simply because Paya behaves in a way that is opposite of a person who's being controlled. Because Arsha was basically emotionally and psychologically manipulating Paya as if to say, like, who was it that found you when you were all alone? Oh, you don't want to do this? How dare you speak out against the system? This doesn't sound like someone who's speaking to someone who's enthralled. So I want to say that the dude with the big old giant battle axe, he's enthralled by Arsha, and this is another way for her to make those compliant to her. That's what I feel about this. Oh, this is so bad. Now, here's the thing. The tender moment, and I know we're talking about Arsha and everybody, but the moment with yeah, Paya has been very clear as being fooled and manipulated. Exactly. That's why I brought it up. Paya is not, clearly, Paya is not being, basically controlled by Arsha, but just being emotionally and mentally manipulated by her. So that's different. But the dude that hasn't said anything, and we still don't know which heir he is, but he hasn't said anything. And he basically behaves just like Leun Suk, who's been taken over by Park Dojin. So this makes me think, oh, this isn't the first time she's used this. Because it's very peculiar. It's scary that she perfected something that an apostle of Iterim has created and made an even better version that he's now using, which means that her alchemical knowledge is vastly superior to that of Park Dojin, because even he couldn't figure that out. Oh, the other guy, he doesn't speak, so it might be because Leon Suk doesn't speak either. Oh, the other guy, he doesn't speak, so it might be that because Lee Eun-suk does not speak either. See, what I'm talking about is he doesn't speak because he behaves similar to how Lee Eun-suk does. I get a whole bunch of weird people that show up, don't I? Back to this. So, sort of like a puppet, perhaps? That's what it strikes me as. Yeah, just like a puppet, essentially. Hmm. Interesting. So, but the tender moment with Suho and Circa, which I'm glad we can call her Circa instead of it being like the little elf girl or the heir of the Frost Monarch. I'm glad we have names to put to these people now. I'm grateful for that. That moment where they're talking to each other and the fact that just the casual conversation about Cha Hei-in. And he doesn't even realize that she's talking about his own mother. It's a nice little moment. But the thing with Arsha here, sorry, I was kind of distracted earlier because it was a weirdo. But this moment with Arsha, who's trying to, verbally convince Circa to join them, Circa's all like, no, I need to get my food there. It's food to my village. And then she's all like, oh, well, okay, we're gonna have to do this another way. Smashes the food. So now every bit of food that Suho gave her is destroyed. All the drinks, all the food, and even clothing that could have protected and, helped out the kids at the village, that's gone. And now they're gonna try and make her join them. However, let's not forget that Suho put a shadow on her. So it's not like the monarchs are gonna easily take her. And now the only question is, can the shadow items grant immunity to Iterum shards or to the other players? That's the question we still don't know the answer to. If someone has like a shadow item or maybe a shadow on them, can that negate the effects of the Iterum shards? That's the question I really would like to know. And since a shadow is already on Circa, let's see if that's what happens. The other thing that I just now noticed is the previous Monarch of Frost, which we now know is Circa's grandpa, has a statue in the last chapter. He has long ears, very clearly Baruka. So now my question is, if Baruka was killed by Jin in the previous timeline, and yet we had another Ice Elf, the Frost Monarch, later on in life, that wasn't Baruka, that was just a completely different person? Because if it was a completely different person, then there probably isn't a relation to that being Baruka himself. Then again, though, this is a new timeline, and Baruka has not been seen, so that could very well be Baruka. But we don't know. The face contours are completely different. Plus, the hair is extra long, and it basically just looks like the Frost Monarch himself. Baruka could be like a completely different person here, and no relation to the Frost Monarch themselves, because the Frost Monarch had long ears too. I mean, Frost Elves, Ice Elves. So I don't really see him being Baruka. But I just see him just being like the classic Frost Monarch that we've seen before. So I just don't think that's Baruka, though. I just don't think that's Baruka, though. I think that is the same Frost Monarch from the previous timeline. It's just that he has a statue, you around a statue of him. Salad had round ears. He did? That was his name? Hold up. Salad? That was his name? Ah, his ears were shorter. They weren't round, but they were shorter. Huh. Maybe that is Baruka. Yeah, I'm looking at a picture of him right now. Maybe that actually is Baruka. That's interesting though. Maybe it was I don't know. Because dude looks just like the Frost Monarch though. Dude looks just like the Frost Monarch, just has longer ears. So maybe new timeline, new ears? I don't know. You asking the wrong dude. I don't know what to tell you. But Arsha trying to force Sirika to join them, we're definitely going to see whether or not the shadows can be used. Shadows can be used to negate the effects of Iterum shards and basically these possession shards that she uses. That she uses. Now, we don't even know to what strength these shards are. Like, they could be absolute in terms of strength. Like, they can grab anyone of any rank, like S rank all the way down. We don't know if this is comparable to the star drop that she's given Park Dojin himself. We don't know. However, if my assumption is correct, then she did use this before, and it was used on the one heir. Used on the one heir that's always behind everybody, and he has that big old axe and that sort of Aztec Mayan headdress on his head, and he hasn't said anything, so I wouldn't be surprised if that's the case. The statue doesn't show the forehead, which is where Boudica had a tattoo that called out to me. It doesn't show the forehead. Hold on, let me go up to episode 65. Let me just scroll down real quick. See, page down is... Yep, thank you, page down. I'm so glad page down is a button. This helps out a whole lot. Alright. Okay, there we go. Okay, alright, so... Help me, grandfather. And the statue is standing there. Long hair, pointed ears. The forehead is shadowed over, so we can't really make out the forehead itself. So this could be, in this universe, in this particular timeline, Boudica could be the Frost Monarch. Because Circa's in front of this statue, and mind you, this is a very detailed statue. It even has, like, the ripped, ruffled details of the pants. Bare-chested, wielding this very big trident. But we don't get, like, full couture view of the statue itself. We just get Circa praying at it as well. You know, asking for guidance and whatnot. Has the Axe Guy's name been revealed? No, it has not yet. That's the reason why I keep calling him the Axe Guy. Because his name hasn't been said. We got Arsha, Plague Monarch heir. We have Paya, Monarch of heir to the Monarch of Transfiguration, I want to say. And then we have Circa, heir to the Frost Monarch. And then, of course, we have Essel, heir to the Demon Monarch, Monarch of White Flame. And then we have Suho, heir of the Shadow Monarch. But we don't have the dude in the back's name. Oh, and we also have Gray, heir of the Beast Monarch. But we don't have the axe dude in the back. We don't have his name. And I want to say Amut is the heir of the Iron Body Monarch. And I've already forgotten the Iron Body Monarch's name. Sorry. But we don't get the name of the dude in the back. I just don't find it believable that the Frost Monarch is the same as Boudica. He was too weak to be a monarch. See, that's the reason why I said maybe. I'm still not 100% behind it, though. So maybe it's Boudica. But until proven otherwise, I'm just going to see this as Salad. Which, thank you, Flipdo, for telling me the dude's name, because I forgot it. It's interesting to me, because if Boudica was the Frost Monarch's replacement for Salad, and then Sirika is, that means the same can be said for someone else for the current heirs. True. It's not necessarily something that's hereditary, but something that can be passed down. Which makes me wonder about Brokey then. Because if that sort of hierarchy was a thing, then maybe it would have been Brokey, who was like next in line to be the heir of the Beast Monarch, that would then go to his heir, go over to his, the Beast Monarch's child, Gray, back then. But then again, I'm going off on a whole different tangent here. So maybe I'm just assuming. I'm just assuming, just trying to put things together to see if it makes sense. That's just my theory. It still needs some more for it to even have even a modicum of weight to it. But maybe that's how the hierarchy works when it comes to monarchs and their heirs. Maybe it's not something that's hereditary, but something passed down to someone who's actually strong. And if they happen to be strong, then it can just be passed down to the next person or so. I don't know. Like I said, this is just random out there theories. Maybe. Iron Body was Tarnok. Thank you! Thank you! I knew it was T something. It wasn't Yogamont, but I knew it was T something. Thank you for the reminder. But yeah, so we only got 2 more chapters before season 2 ends. And now the question is, how are we going to end this season? Because Sutika is looking like she's going to be forcibly taken, and maybe even forced to try and join the heirs of the monarchs, because the system is commanding them to, because they have their own quests. Gain all the monarchs and defeat the Shadow Monarch, while Suho's job is to gain all of the heirs of the Shadow Monarchs as allies, and he's doing pretty good thus far. So now these are 2 combating ideals going up against each other that happen to be in the same area. So who knows if Suho's going to run into the monarchs the heirs at any point during this entire excursion inside of this S rank gate. My question is, how does one end season 2? This is a rhetorical question. Don't even worry about it. I wonder if there's an heir of Antares as well. That's what I fear. What if dude in the back is heir to Antares? That's probably the reason why we haven't gotten his name or his title. Antares' heirs gotta be Kamish. That'd be crazy! The Calamity Dragon! The one where Thomas Andre had to fight the hardest! Wouldn't that be crazy if Kamish is the heir to Antares? And then he joined Suho. Ah! The heir to Antares, that prospect kind of interests me greatly. Because Antares was the strongest foe that Jin ever faced in the previous timeline. It was literally a kaiju battle between the two during the final fight of the series, of the original run. To see a child have the power of the king of dragons and the monarch of just pure destruction. That would be sick to see if Suho could add that strength to his own. Because if he did, Suho would literally be unstoppable. But these are things that we'll have to worry about later down the line. But I am curious to see how things are going to turn out for Sutika and the heirs as well. Because this is the moment where my question is posed. Also, just gotta let you know, Season 2 is only over because the lead artist is doing his mandatory military service. Season 3 is coming back soon. Oh, don't worry, I already know. I was told like a week in advance. Cohagen here told me. Everybody's been keeping me abreast of the situation of the artists, getting drafted and then them getting a brand new artist. I've already been told. People keep me updated with stuff all the time, so I'm all good. I got a very reliable community here. It ended way too fast. This season, I feel like it ended too fast because when the season came back, we had 14 chapters waiting for us in one day. That's the thing. When I did that whole catch-up reaction like last year, it was like on the 11th of December, when we had 14 chapters of Season 2 already waiting for us. So the reason why it feels like it's already gone, that this entire season came and went, is because we had like over 10 chapters in one single day, and then the rest we got trickled down. So it seems short because they put a whole big lump sum in the beginning. That's why I missed out. That's why it feels so short. They didn't space it out. They just gave us like a whole bunch of chapters in the start. But I am curious. Hopefully the season won't take long to start. Hopefully not. You know me. I'm going to be here reacting to this series as always, keeping you guys abreast of the situation. The hiatuses were likely because the artist was preparing a replacement. It's short because there was no other way. It's fine. It's completely understandable. It's completely understandable. I'm not like sitting here with bated breath with every single chapter, and then when something happens, all like, I waited forever for this. How could you do? How could this happen to me? No, it's like life happens. And us readers, us reactors, us who are looking forward to this story and everything that's going on with it, we just need to be adaptable towards it. So it's fine. These things happen. So it's not, and I'm not saying it's an issue, but it's like, hey, if these things happen, you just roll with the punches. That's all it takes. But going back to this, I am incredibly curious to see if my theory of shadow items being used to negate the effects of monarchs is actually proven right. Now, we only got 2 more chapters before this particular season ends, so I'm quite curious to see how things will go. Kitty, it's good to see you. I was just talking about the I was just saying the last bit of this particular chapter, giving my thoughts on it, and then later on we'll be continuing with more Epic Mickey. But overall, this is a very interesting chapter because it has me curious as to what's about to happen and see what this particular fragment that Arsha's about to use, if it can affect Circa, or if the fact that she has a shadow on her because Suho put one on her is capable of negating the effects of the fragment. Because that would be a massive bit of data that will definitely help out in the future. But we'll just have to see. Overall, I said everything that I needed to say. Ladies and gentlemen, Flipdo, Cohagen, Mihai, who else was here? I'll be reading the light novel while waiting for the next season. I'm still reading through the light novel of the main series. Of course, obviously, I'm putting it up on Patreon because I'm not trying to have another situation where they say like, oh, you're infringing on Audible. So we're going to need you to take down every single one of your videos, even though the audio you're using is your very own voice, and it's not even remotely associated with the audio from the audiobooks. That's the reason why I'm glad Patreon exists. Maybe I'll read Solo Leveling Ragnarok's light novel in the future, but that's still going to be further down the line. I do know that I'll have plenty to keep me occupied for the next season. See you next week for One Piece. Wish you a wonderful day. They're different stories, so I feel okay with it. Yeah, the way light novels are done is fundamentally different from how manhwas are done, and definitely fundamentally different from how anime adaptations are. So yeah. But yeah, that's all I got. Only 2 more chapters before Season 2 of Solo Leveling Ragnarok ends. And from what I understand, this story is significantly shorter than the run of Solo Leveling. Whereas Solo Leveling had 270 chapters. No. I'm thinking of the light novel. The light novel had 270 chapters. The manhwa had a much shorter amount. It was like 157? 157, I believe? Hold on, let me look this up because I got this saved as a favorite as well. Okay, episode 1. Yeah, 179 actually. Yeah, 179 chapters. So we'll see how far Solo Leveling Ragnarok actually goes. Manhwa had 180. Yeah, Manhwa had 180 chapters. There we go, thank you. 200 with the extra chapters. Yeah. It was 170-ish. Yeah. That's without counting the epilogue, which was an additional 9 chapters. Exactly. So, it's not... The story of Solo Leveling wasn't terribly long, with that means that Solo Leveling Ragnarok is going to be even shorter than the run of Solo Leveling. So who knows how many chapters we're going to get in the end. We could have 150, we could have even less than that. So, yeah, we'll see. But overall, interesting chapter, and I'm curious to see how things are about to go for everybody moving forward. Interesting. But ladies and gentlemen, this has been my reaction to Solo Leveling Ragnarok. Can't wait to see you guys for the final 2 chapters over the next 2 Saturdays, and then we'll be going on break, which means I'll be doing something else on Saturday at 12. But I just want to say thank you guys. Thank you for being patient as I fixed my mic and everything else I had going on. You are such a wonderful audience. Thank you for your time. You could have spent any amount of your Saturday anyplace else, but you decided to come here, and I just wanted to say I appreciate you for all that. Onwards and upwards! With that being said, hope you all enjoyed. Can't wait to see you all in my next video. Like, comment, and subscribe if you haven't already. Even consider checking out my Patreon, because I am always looking forward to entertaining you. And because I know you're coming back anyway. Have a fantastic day, and once again, as always, later, peoples!